here's what nobody talks about. And this article does such a great job. This article really focuses in on how sensitive your planning is in the first 10 years of your retirement. Mm-hmm. So the first 10 years are hugely important. And what this article says, it talks about, and they do all the math, right? And they say if there is a market drop of 20% or more at any point during the first 10 years of your retirement, if you just have like a diversified portfolio, you are up the creek with no paddle.
Welcome to Retirement Today. I'm your co-host, Zach Holcomb, and alongside me we have Michael Reese. He's a certified financial planning professional, and he spent the last 25 plus years helping develop plans to get families into and through retirement. This is Retirement Today. But before we get started on today's program, Mike, tell me how you are this evening.
As always, doing fantastic. I mean, I live in Austin, Texas. How's that not a good thing?
I know there's no reason to not be happy living here. It's
Except
awesome.
for traffic sometimes.
Yeah, and the real estate prices.
They've been good to me.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm excited for the show today. I think we have a great topic that we're going to discuss that our listeners are really going to take a lot out of. We're going to be talking about retirement income planning and some of the risk associated with it. Yeah,
that's right. And, we've got this great article that came out and, titled Planning for Retirement Income Within an Increasing Volatile and Uncertain World.
That's scary. Ooh.
Yeah. Except the problem is, this is written by, of course, some kind of academic person. So there's about, 100% or 150% more words than needed.
Yes, it
in
is
this
very
whole article.
Wordy. But you know what? We've taken away some good points from it.
Yeah, what's kind of interesting? I do want to read this.
Sure.
And this is, by the way, for all of you listening out there in Radio Land, this is the kind of stuff we have to read through just so that we can share with you what's really happening. So here's what this says. Retirement income planning is one of the most highly personal, complex, and least understood financial journeys individuals face today. And they go, as more Americans enter retirement without the protection of a defined benefit pension plan, the potential ramifications of inadequate income planning become even more immediate. And they talk about, hey, you've got these questions. How long are you going to live? How healthy are you going to be? And what about inflation? What about taxes? There's a lot of moving parts. And essentially what they're talking about in this article is they're saying this. They're saying, hey, everybody, it used to be when you retired, you had Social Security and a pension and your personal savings, the three-legged stool. So again, leg number one, Social Security. Leg number two, pension. Leg number three, personal savings. Two of those legs, Zach, are lifetime income streams.
Yep.
Right? Guaranteed streams of lifetime income. You can't outlive them. It's always going to be there. One of those streams, personal savings, it's kind of for extra stuff.
Sure.
But what they're saying is today, there's a ton of people. I think the article references something like 80% of people do not have pensions.
Yeah, it seems pretty accurate, maybe even more.
Yeah, and so all they have is Social Security and retirement savings.
Right.
And they got to make it work.
Yep.
And what's really important in this article is, this article destroys what the financial industry as a whole tells you should do. It destroys it. Because think about this. If you go to an investment advisor today, if you go there and you ask them, how do I structure my portfolio for retirement?
Oh, I think I know the answer to this one.
What do you think they're going to say?
They're going to give you a nice, colorful pie chart. They're going to diversify between stocks and bonds, throw in some international in there. It's going to look so pretty and great and perfect.
That's right. They're going to give you the balanced portfolio.
Right.
They're going to tell you, you just need to invest in a balanced, diversified portfolio, and it's all going to be fine.
Yep.
Right? Yet, here's what this article tells. And this article's, it's done by people, they don't have a dog in the fight, right? This is actually done by, let's see, it was by Colin Devine, who's an education fellow at the Alliance for Lifetime Income, and Ken Mungan, chairman of Milliman. Milliman's nothing more than a think tank. I mean, they're just crunching numbers. They're a bunch of actuaries. They are, by the way, you know what an actuary is?
I need the definition.
It's an accountant without a sense of humor.
Da-da-da-da.
Yeah, me and my jokes. But here's what they tell you. They say if you do this balanced portfolio and you want to say take 4% income, right? That's classic. You got $1 million, you want to take out $40,000 a year. You got $500,000, take out $20,000, whatever it is. They say as long as everything goes really, really well, you still got a 20% chance that you're going to run out of money.
And that's if everything goes really well.
Yeah. Here, check this out. They say if you get just one market correction, 20%, just one in the next 10 years or the first 10 years of your retirement. By the way, probability on that is extraordinarily high. Check this out. Now you've got a 43% chance you're going to run out of money.
I don't like that number.
That's not good.
No.
And what if you want 5% income? Same 60-40 portfolio. If you want 5% income and everything goes well, 44.6% chance you run out of money. And if you have 20% drop, you have a 70% chance you're going to run out of money. Essentially, what are they saying? They're saying this idea of the classic, diversified, balanced portfolio, the idea that that's going to serve you well in retirement, not only is that wrong, that's just really, 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 really wrong. And I could have told them that because I experienced that with my own parents over 20 years ago. Right? Over 20 years ago, when my parents retired, they retired in the late 90s. And at the time, what did the industry teach us? Use a balanced, diversified portfolio. That's what they taught us. And what happened was I did that for my parents, and I did it perfectly well. And by the end of 2002, which was, 2000, 2001, 2002 was a 3-year period where the stock market lost about half. By the end of 2002, half of their money was gone. And they were diversified, but you combine a diversified portfolio with distributions in a market that's going down, you know what you have? Chaos.
Yep.
It just doesn't work. That's what this article says. It's like these balanced portfolios are great if you're trying to grow money, but to be a solution for retirement planning once you're retired, it's like that's a loser. And what makes me so angry, this is why, as you're listening to us, you wonder, why do you do what you do? It's right here. This article is why we do what we do. Because the financial industries, they know, here's the part, they know it doesn't work. That's what drives me crazy. They know that a balanced portfolio is very likely to fail you during your retirement, and they don't care.
Right, because you mentioned it failed when your parents retired 25 years ago. They're doing the same thing now.
Yeah, and it failed in 2008 as well.
Yeah.
So they know it's going to fail when the market goes south. They don't care. They don't care. Just keep your money invested so they can make their fees and they're happy. That just offends me. I am a big believer that you deserve to enjoy the retirement of your dreams. You work your whole frickin' life to save money. You deserve to enjoy the fruits of your labor. But a balanced portfolio isn't going to cut it. You need to have a more sophisticated strategy to help you manage your money wisely to get you through retirement, right? You need a plan to get you to retirement, but you need also a plan to get you through retirement. What gets you to retirement is not the same thing that gets you through retirement. There's 4 things that this article points out. I think 4 things.
Yep.
I think they missed one.
So there might be 5.
There might be 5.
Okay.
But the article talks about, that we've been referencing here today, talks about 4 different risks. Mm-hmm. And when you think about them, they all make such perfect sense. And the first one, Zach, is longevity.
Yeah, and this one kind of hits home with me. I mean, my great-grandma lived to 102. Yeah,
but I've seen how you take care of yourself. I don't know that you're going to make it.
All right, maybe I'll make it to 95.
But here's the question. One of the things they talk about in this article, and it's very, very true when it comes to retirement planning. There's good news and bad news. The good news is we're all living longer, right? Longevity, we don't know how long we're going to live, but we do know that we're living longer. What's the bad news? We're living longer,
Right.
which means our money has to last longer. It's a bigger job.
Now, this is going to blow you away. They've got some stats in here that are going to blow your mind, okay?
I got to hear it. Let's go.
A married couple, 1 out of every 3, one of them is going to live past age 90.
What? 90? I see married couple. That says 50% chance.
So about a third of all 65-year-olds today will live past age 90.
Is that what they say?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
1 in 7 making it to 95.
Well, okay, so you saw, by the way, for all of you out there in Radio Land, Zach and I are looking at the same article. He's reading the text, and I'm looking at the picture because I like pictures. I'm
Yes.
visual
It's
learner.
very colorful, too.
It is.
Yeah.
So they break that down, I think,
Yeah.
is what they do in the picture because
Yeah.
they say 1 out of 3 will make it to age 90.
Yes.
Or about a third, yeah.
Yeah.
But then they say, what if you're married,
Yep.
right? If you're married, there's a 50% chance that at least one of you will make it to 91. There's a 25% chance that at least one of you, might be both, make it to 96.
So if you retire and you're 60, you might have to structure your income to last 30 to 35 years.
Exactly. I can't tell you how many families we talked to today. We saw a study, Zach, in a previous show where they said that the average age that people are wanting to retire is 62. Remember that?
Yep.
So imagine that. You retire at 62 and you live to 92. That's 30 years. That's a long time your money's got to last.
Yep.
30 years where, we don't know how long we're going to live, but what else can happen during those 30 years? That brings up some other of the 4 risks that this article talks about. What's the next one?
It's health.
Yeah. If you live until you're 92, is your health, what's going to happen? Is it going to get better or worse over that time?
Well, not ideally, but it's going to probably get worse.
Well, the good news is, at first, early in retirement, maybe you got a chance to work out. And
Sure.
we had a event the other night, and this gal showed up. I think she was like 63 years old or something, but she was wearing this CrossFit jacket.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. She was in such great shape.
She would beat us up.
She
right?
would. Oh, she could beat me up with 2 hands tied behind her back. She was in great shape. I was so proud of her. Anyway, the point is, during the early years of retirement, certainly you can spend some time with your health and your physical fitness. But, you get in your late 80s, 90s, your health goes downhill. And the question is, what's that going to cost you? That's a big unknown, isn't it?
Yep.
So it's okay. So we're living a long time, but towards the end stages of our lives, maybe our life, quality of life isn't what it used to be. And this is where we have to bring in some people to help out. So, I think about my own, my wife's parents, right? Her dad, Harry, who is like a saint of a man, he's still alive. Her mom passed away a couple years ago. Her mom had Alzheimer's for the last 5 years of her life. And, Harry did everything he could to take care of her. But at some point, you got to bring people in to help out.
Sure.
And that costs money.
It's not cheap.
They were very fortunate because they were able to stay at home the whole time. And they were able to pay for people to come in and help. But not everybody can do that.
Right.
Some people have to go to an assisted living facility, to a nursing home. What's that going to cost? So we don't know how long we're going to live. We don't know what we're going to pay for health care. By the way, I think I saw somewhere that the average price, if you are 65 years old, that, Fidelity does a study every year. They said that you're likely going to spend right around $390,000 on health care total.
Wow.
Over your expected lifetime. Most of that towards the end. By the way, that assumes no long-term care.
Right.
Add in long-term care on top of that, you got what they call real money, right? So we've got longevity we don't know is a risk. Health we don't know. What's the next one?
The market volatility, and you touched on that a little bit in the last segment.
Here's what nobody talks about. And this article does such a great job. This article really focuses in on how sensitive your planning is in the first 10 years of your retirement. So the first 10 years are hugely important. And what this article says, it talks about, and they do all the math, right? And they say if there is a market drop of 20% or more at any point during the first 10 years of your retirement, if you just have like a diversified portfolio, you are up the creek with no paddle. You are in trouble. And by the way, think about that. Do you know how often 20% drops have happened in the markets historically? Usually they come about once every 5 or 6 years. It's been a while since we've had a 20% drop, right? It's been 2008 since we've had a major, and you could say, oh, no, wait, Mike, what about, the coronavirus, March of 2020, the market was down 30% in a month. Yeah, and it snapped right back. That's not what they're talking about. They're talking about a bear market, and they're talking about recessions that happen in the economy that knock you backwards 20, 30, 40%, and all it has to be is one time, 1 year, market's down for 1 year, 20% or more in the first 10 years of retirement, and you are just hugely in trouble.
It's not good.
What are the odds of that happening? High. That's an enormous risk. And then we've got our fourth risk that they bring up. What's that?
Inflation, and that's a hot topic right now.
It sure is. What's inflation going to be? We don't know. But good news, Zach. Social Security, I hear, increases their payout with inflation.
Really?
It's amazing that they do that. They never increase it as much as inflation.
Yeah.
Here's the fun part, though. Magically, your Medicare premium increases as well, and usually at an amount pretty close to the increase that you got in your Social Security check. So it's kind of a break even, right? Yeah. So, but here's the thing. When it comes to your retirement income planning, you got to think about what are those risks. Number one, how long are you going to live? What's your health going to be? What about market volatility? And what about inflation? By the way, there's a fifth one I'll talk about in another segment. But question, do you have a plan to address all of those? Odds are you don't. If your plan is, I'm just diversified portfolio, which is what most people have, guess what? That doesn't cut it. This article says you will likely fail if that's your plan. This is so important. This is an area that we specialize in. In our office, look, I've helped people with their retirement planning for 25 plus years. We know how to plan for retirement. We know how to set up your portfolio in a strategic way so you can protect yourself against each one of these risk factors. You deserve to enjoy the fruits of your labor. You deserve to enjoy a great retirement. Don't let poor planning mess it up. Even if you have an advisor right now, why not double check where you're at? What harm is there? Why not get a double check to make sure you're doing the right things? Zach, what number are we calling?
Mike, they're going to call 512-886-5850. Again, that number's 512-886-5850.
And we're up against a break, right? So we will get to talk about that fifth risk that's not in the article, and we'll see you again next week.